Jai Hind everyone. I am Pooja Pandey, Assistant Professor in the MCA Department in AKG Engineering College. Today I am going to deliver my lecture on the computer networks and I am taking a topic congestion control algorithm, which is in the MCA curriculum in the computer networks, and its code is KCA 303. Now the topics what I am going to cover today is what is congestion, causes of congestion, effects of congestion, algorithms. Now, types of congestion algorithm. There are two types of the congestion algorithm, that is your leaky bucket and the token bucket, and we will at the end we will discuss about the comparison between the leaky bucket and the token bucket. Now, when we are discussing that what is congestion in the networks, or what is the term congestion means. Congestion means that when, if we are not talking in terms of the terminology, you can say we are not talking in terms of the networks, then you mean to say that congestion means we are collecting a data somewhere and it is not moving from that place, so the work is hindered. So if we convert this statement in terms of the networks, we say that then too many packets are present in the network, it causes packet delay and loss of packet, which degrades the performance of the system. So this situation is called the congestion. That means that when a data is traveling from source to destination, you say from source to, the data is traveling from source to destination, if you say, right? Now when the packet is traveling, you say that it is traveling like here, and somewhere here you can say that somewhere here the data is collected here and it is not able to deliver the data at the further, right? And it is not able to reach at the destination. So what the problem we are facing? We are facing that the packet is not received at the destination point. So there is a time loss, you can say there is a loss of time, and when the packet is not reached, our system is not, the performance degrades, right? The packet is not receiving, so the network is not done. So that's why we are saying that when too many packets, flow in a directions and present in the network, it causes a net packet delay and loss of packets, and that's why it degrades the performance of the system. That's why it is called as a congestion. This situation is called as a congestion. Now, why the congestion occur? There a question comes in our mind that why congestion occur? The congestion occurs in a network when the demand of the resources exceeds the network's capacity. That is, you say that the demand of the resources such as bandwidth or your processing power, it exceeds the network capacity. It means that it has a capacity of 10. You can say it is a capacity of 10 or 20, you can say 20 till data, we can say that 1 to 20 we can keep the data, right? But the demand of the resources has been increased, so now the network capacity has been is exceeded, right? And our network, you can say our network capacity, it can hold only 20 data, or you can say, let's say that X data, right? Our network capacity is able to hold the data like X data, but our demand resources increases by X plus Y. Now if it is, you say that network capacity is X and our demand is X plus Y, then there will be the performance will be degraded, because our demand is increased in spite the capacity has been decreased, right? So it will degrade the performance. So that will and if the performance is delayed, it will issues a increase in the delay packets. Okay, there will be a delay, there will be a packet loss, there will be a reduced throughput, and the impact of the quality of the service for the user will be impacted. The quality of the service which we are going to provide for the user is impacted. That's why the congestion, how the congestion occurs. So we can say that congestion occurs when the demand for the resources exceeds the network capacity, right? Now if we see this diagram, it will be clear. We can say that how the congestion occurs. For example, the packet is sent here, our packet is received. So what we expect that our packet, when we are delivering our packet, it is reaching to this maximum carrying this the capacity of this is, so it is reaching at the maximum point. So this point is termed as your, or you can say it is a perfect. According to this, our network should be like this. When the packet is sent, the network should hold this amount of how much. It doesn't mean that we are saying the demand of the resources. It means that when the demand of the resources is increased but the network capacity is less, so there will be a cause of the congestion. But what we, according to the perfect you can say perfect network or perfect system, we say that the how much the demand is there, even though the demand is increased, our network is able to hold that demand. But what we are getting this one, because the network is limited, the network bandwidth is limited, it cannot hold more than whatever the network is. So that's why the capacity, you can say the congestion is here. So this will be your desirable. And when there is a congested, when the performance you can say that when the demand is increased and the network capacity is less, it is congested, you can say. So by this diagram we can see that when there is a too much traffic is offered, the congestion is set and performance decrease rapidly. And when the performance is very good, or you can say performance is perfect, we will get this type of graph. But when it is degraded, we will get this type of graph. So this diagram shows that how when the demand increases and our network capacity is less and it is unable to hold that network band, it is unable to hold that part, so congestion occur, right? Now we are going to discuss about the what are the causes of the congestion. When we are talking about the causes of the congestion, the first point is high traffic volume. When many devices or many devices are connected to a same network, or users is trying to send the data simultaneously, you see that there is a traffic congestion. The traffic is whole, so that's why the congestion occurs. Now limited bandwidth. When the insufficient capacity, when there is a insufficient capacity to handle the volume of the data, we say that we have the limited bandwidth. We cannot use the what the bandwidth we have, we cannot use that, exceed that bandwidth. So that is also cause of the congestion. Now congestion occur because of the slow network devices. For example, the routers or switches, when we are using the networking devices like routers, switches, they cannot, when they are unable to hold the high loads, the congestion occurs because the speed is slow, the speed of the network devices, right? Now the fourth point is your traffic burst. Traffic burst means that when there is a sudden spikes in the transmission, data transmission, such as during the live streaming or the software updates, the traffic burst. For example, when video streaming, when you see that live matches are going on, the streaming is going on, we see that sometimes there is a collection, our video got paused. Why? Because of this traffic burst, and we say that it is a causes of the congestion, because the limited bandwidth we are trying to more, you can say we are trying to handle the more volume, or we are trying to more insufficient data in that way. So that's why the traffic burst occurs. Now inefficient routing is also another cause of the congestion. It means that when poorly optimized routing paths can overburden certain network segments. It means that we study about the many routing algorithms, that is adaptive and the non-adaptive routing algorithms. In that we study, routing is mainly done for finding out the shortest path, or you can see the optimizing the routing paths. Now when we are finding out the shortest path, sometimes the poorly optimized routing path can overburden the network segment, because we are finding out the shortest path, and due to the shortest path every data is transferred to there. Okay, so we are sending our data simultaneously on that shortest path, or you can say the optimized routing path, which causes the overburden on the certain network segments. That's why we are saying that inefficient routings are the main causes of the congestion. Now the lack of the flow control. Next is lack of the flow control. It means that absence of the proper mechanism to regulate the data transmission rates. We say that lack of flow control. When we are talking about the flow control, in the flow control we always study about the, you can say that many algorithms we study, and due to that, if they are not properly handled, there is a cause of the congestion. Now the next is, what is the effects of the congestion? Okay, we see that congestion occurs in our networks, but what is the main effects, or what are the side effects, you can say, that is happened due to the congestion? The first one is your increased delay. Now when you are sending your packets on the overloaded routers, or in the same source to destination, and our packets are collected somewhere and it is not able to deliver in the or it is not moving in the specific way what we want, we say that there is an increase, because at the appropriate time it is unable to reach at the destination point. That's why we say that congestion, due to the congestion there is an increased delay time has been increased. Now there is a cause, because of this there is a cause of the packet loss also. The packets are lost because full queues cause routers to drop the packets, requiring the retransmission. When there is a delay in the transmission, we always say that there is a loss of packets. And now when there is a loss of packets, we say that the retransmission is required. And then again we are taking more time for that. Now we are discussing about the reduced throughput. That means that the data transfer rate decreases. Why? Because due to the congestion our data transfer rate decreases. That's why we are saying that it is a effect of the congestion, that is reduced throughput. Now again, next is your retransmission. When we are talking about the retransmission, when the lost packets are sent, it increase further load, because we are retransmitting and it is taking the delay time. Due to that the time is delayed, right? Now unreliable connection. Congestion, due to the congestion there is an unreliable connection. For example, the application relying on the real time data. For example, when we are for the online gaming, due to this online gaming, the congestion is, it is effect of the congestion. When we play online gaming, it is an unreliable connection, so that it will suffer our, you can say that it will suffer from the poor quality. So these are the effects of the congestion. Again I am repeating, the congestion effects are increased delay, packet loss, reduced throughput, retransmission, and the unreliable connections. Now when we are talking about that's what the main topic is what we are going to discuss, that is your congestion control algorithm. We have seen what is congestion. Now to control this congestion, or to avoid or to prevent this congestion, we use a certain algorithms. So this congestion control algorithm is a set of techniques and protocols which is designed to manage and avoid and alleviate the congestion in a network by regulating the flow of data packets. It means that we are using the algorithm that it will prevent or avoid the congestion in our network, and it will allow or it will regulate the flow of data packets. It means that there will be no delay in the data packets. So we are using the congestion control algorithm, and this congestion, the main aim of this algorithm is to ensure the proper utilization of the network's resources, making the optimal performance and prevent the collapse of the network services under the heavy traffic conditions. It means that when we are using the congestion control algorithm, we know that what is congestion. right? Now to prevent the congestion, we are using the congestion control algorithm, which will help us to design, which will help us to manage and avoid and alleviate the congestion, and it will increase our performance in the network and it will regulate the flow of data packets in the system. So main aim of the, you can say, the congestion control algorithm is the proper utilization, or you can see the efficient utilization of the network resources, which will help to maintain the optimal performance, right? It will maintain the optimal performance and it will prevent further any congestion, or you can say the collapse of the network services, because when the congestion occurs, there are more chances that the network services will be collapsed. Now there are two types of the congestion algorithm. The first one is your leaky bucket and second one is your token bucket algorithm. Now when we are talking about the leaky bucket algorithm is nothing, it is a method of managing the data flow. You see that it is a method of managing the data flow. You can say that while explaining the leaky bucket algorithm, we can take an example when we are filling a water in a bucket, and when the extra water is filled, when our bucket is filled according to its capacity, and when we try to fill extra water in that, the water is you can say the water is not allowed. It is due to the overflow of the water, the overflowed water is discarded. The same mechanism is done in the leaky bucket algorithm. In this, you can say it ensures that data flows constantly to prevent the network from the overloading. In the leaky bucket algorithm, we normally controls the data transmission rates in a network to ensure that they stay within the allowed limit. For example, we will see in the diagram, in the next slide we are going to discuss in the diagram. In this we are taking it as previously I have discussed, that we are taking an example of your bucket, the concept of the bucket. When we are filling the water in the bucket, we can fill the water. For example, if there is a 20-liter bucket, we can only fill the 20-liter water in that. If the water is exceeding from the 20-liter, we say that the condition is over flooded, and this over flooded condition means that the remaining water, whatever the water apart from the 20-liter, it is overflowed and it is discarded. So it regulates. We see that if the water overflows due to the excess data, the extra data is discarded. It means the same when the extra water we want to fill in the bucket apart from the 20-liter, the extra water is discarded. So now this mechanism regulates the data flow by tracking the bucket volume and preventing the overflow to ensure the smooth and the controlled network traffic. We can get that point by this example. For example, we can say that when we are talking about the leaky bucket algorithm, we see that the tap, here the tap water, we try to fill the water by tap, and there is water is filling, right? So we see that there is a hole in a bucket, so by drop the water is getting out from that bucket, right? So it is helpful that how we are trying to that we are passing the data in a manner so that our bucket is not overloaded. In the similar way, we see that this concept in terms of the network, when the host computer send the data to the network, we take a interface that is containing a concept of your leaky bucket, which means that when we are sending the packets here, for example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? For example, this bucket has got the capacity of 10, you can say 10 time or 10 packets it can send. Now we are sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means we have sent the 5 data, right? 5 you can say 5 packets here. So here 5 packets are here. Now we are discarding, and now this packet is getting out from this bucket in a regulated form, one by one. So this 5 is taking out one packet by one packet. So 1, 2, 3, and here it is 5. And the capacity is 10 packets of this bucket. So we see that already it is a 10 packets and here it is 5. So 10 minus 5, it is 5, right? It means the 5 packets can still be there in this bucket. But, and already from this 5 packets, the 3 packets are being out for the network. So it means that we have got the 2 packets. So now 2 packets are there. Again, we are sending the packets 2 plus 5, again it is 7. So you can see that the leaky bucket algorithm, according to the leaky bucket algorithm, we come to the point that our network is in the smooth way and there is no problem of the congestion. And if there is an overflow, that extra packets has been discarded from this. So this is a concept of your leaky bucket. Now, again, if we want to discuss this, what we have discussed in the PPT, let's take a quick review in the 1 second. The leaky bucket algorithm, for the first, what we are initializing? We are initializing the bucket's capacity, right? And leak rate to be fixed and constant. For example, the bucket capacity is 10 and the leak rate should be a 2 or 3, you can say. Now, add the packet to the bucket as they come in, and if the bucket is already full, put away the packages or put them off till there is a room. So we are sending the packets till our bucket is filled, but once our bucket is filled, we are discarding that packet, right? Now remove the packets from the bucket at a fixed pace as they are transmitted. Once the packet has been received by the bucket, now they are being transmitted in a fixed pace so that bucket can be empty for the further packets. Now, no buckets can be transmitted if the bucket is empty and until other arrives and fill it back. When the bucket is empty, no other packet is we are able to send to our network. So when additional packets are received, it is broadcasted and we receive and we repeat these steps so that our flow of network is in the proper manner. Now, there is another topic, that is your token bucket algorithm. Now, this token bucket algorithm enforces that output patterns at the average matter, no matter how busy the traffic is. So, to deal with the more traffic, we need a flexible algorithm so that the data is not lost. In the case of the leaky bucket, there is a chances of loss of the, loss of the data. So, in this step 1 is that in regular intervals, tokens are thrown into the bucket F. Now, the bucket has the maximum capacity F, you say. Now, if the packet is ready, then a token is removed from the bucket and the packet is sent. Now, suppose if there is no token in the bucket, the packet cannot be sent. For example, if you see that this is an diagram of the token bucket algorithm, we see that there is a host computer and we are sending one token is added at every time interval. We are adding a token in this bucket. For example, we say that 5 buckets we have added in this token and already 3 are there and its capacity is 10. So there is 8 buckets. Now when we are releasing these 3 buckets, then only we are adding the more buckets in more tokens here in the token bucket algorithm. So that's why if you see that it is more flexible according to the token, it is more flexible, that it allows some more speed if burst time come. Normally it takes a t second, but when there is a flow of buckets, or you can say flow of tokens in a very you can say if it is coming in the more speed or very quickly, one by one the tokens are coming in the bucket, then the tokens are released from here at the more speed, so that there will be a no congestion or no loss of packets are there. So there is a comparison of, you can say, leaky bucket and the token bucket. The first one is that according to the leaky bucket, when the host has to send a packet, the packet is thrown in the bucket, you say. While in the token bucket, if you say the packet holds token generated at the regular interval of time. Now in the leaky bucket, the bucket leaks at the constant rate, while in the token bucket, the bucket is at the maximum capacity, right? Now in the leaky bucket, the bursty traffic is converted into the uniform traffic, while in the token bucket, if there is a ready packet, the token is removed from the bucket and packet is sent. Now in the leaky bucket, if the practice bucket is a finite queue output of the finite rate, but in the token bucket, when we are discussing, there is no token in the bucket, then the packet cannot be sent. So this is the difference between the leaky bucket and the token bucket. So thank you all.